Dissidia Duellum is developed by NHM PlayArt and released in March of 2026. And from the reveal, people already didn't like it. Whether it be the fact that it wasn't a fighting game, even though at this point, Dissidia is the name of the crossover, not specifically a fighting game sub-series, or the fact that it's not only a mobile device, it's a mobile gacha entry as well, which already rubs people the wrong way, on top of the fact that they also shut down Opera Omnium, so people felt like Opera Omnium got shut down in favor of this. So it already had a lot of things going against it. Not helped by the premise of the fact that the characters are now being set in modern day Tokyo. One of the funniest things about the fact that game got revealed was seeing how people could not recognize the Final Fantasy characters if they weren't wearing their original outfits. Like, see, people think the Warrior of Light was Cecil, which, what a comparison is the white hair. People not recognizing Kain without his helmet. People thinking that Rinoa was Tifa, or people thinking Gaia was Tifa. It just showed like how hilarious it is that people kept against the characters. Although the goofiest was people not knowing who Krile was, playing Final Fantasy V, or people saying that Krile was a ripoff of Terra's design. Even though that's not how numbers work, Terra would be the ripoff of Krile. 5 comes before 6. I wanted to wait till the first battle pass to accurately judge the game since it's an ongoing gacha game, so I'm glad I did, because at that point they made several changes on top of the fact of adding in 4 new characters into the roster. So let's get to the game proper. Our main premise of the Final Fantasy characters are now suddenly in modern day Tokyo. There's not really much setup. All you really get at the beginning is just a scene of Cloud being teleported here, Sephiroth simply knowing something because, of course, off the gate we gotta shove the reminder of 557 exists, and then Cloud meeting the other characters who are all referred to as ghosts, because of the fact that they use devices to hide their identity, so people can't really know what they look like, so to them, they're basically this ghost-like people who are fighting these monsters, where in this version of world, you have crystals all over the world, which I think a society that is powered by crystals look a lot different. But apparently it just looks like modern day Tokyo, but there are crystals that are being corrupted, causing monsters to come up to try and steal their energy. While purifying crystals and fighting a monster, a boy named Ren is able to see the ghosts and now knows their identities, which I'm not sure is going to do much for him. But either way, the characters now treat him as part of a friend group, even though they also tell him not to be involved with what they're doing because of how dangerous the situation is when it comes to purifying the crystals and fighting the monsters. But Ren will find ways to insert himself into whatever the ghosts are doing. And that is the base premise. The characters now referred to as ghosts, they have official support from the Japanese government to be purifying the crystals and stopping the monsters, which, to be honest, what's the alternative? They don't purify the crystals and things go to hell? And now they have his newfound friend named Ren, who will seriously not know personal space. Skipping over to the parts of the story told in the first battle pass, you have the aspect now where Ren has this special jewel that allows him to not only corrupt crystals, but it also summons monsters that are actively trying to cause harm to the city and the citizens rather than just absorbing the crystal's energy, which is completely unusual to the monsters the ghosts normally fight. On top of the fact that while trying to stop a behemoth from destroying the city, the party ends up managing to stop the behemoth, but a lot of casualties still happen during this, with the reputation of the ghosts now being in the mud, even the government not having much faith in them being able to prevent disasters from happening. Once again, what's the alternative? So now we have this aspect of the ghost trying to fix their reputation, and also Ren clearly being something more antagonistic and was trying to get into their good graces in order to manipulate them. Something Erasure saw coming because he keeps inserting himself into every situation and tries way too hard to play into all their emotional strings when it comes to the kind of background the characters have. There are also these casual text conversations that also add on to what the ghosts are currently thinking going on, or it could just be an idle chatter with them just casually hanging out, with this probably being some of the more for at least for me, entertaining writing when it comes to the game, because just having the Final Fantasy characters just have a fun moment with each other, and just simple entertaining from that, and trying to have their personalities bounce off each other. But that's basically how the story is told. You know, 3D cutscenes for major moments, and the text conversations that do further the story, but are also there just for the characters to have fun interaction. When it comes to the story told so far, it's just alright. Like, I don't think it's bad or anything, but it's the fact that it feels weird how the characters really don't clock that Ren is suspicious off the bat. Like, even a character like Cloud and Kain, who Kain does want Ren to stop hanging around them, but then you have other characters like Zidane who will go, nah, he just means you just need to stay safe and that's totally fine. And it's like, that is not what he said at all. Or the fact that they do introduce 4 new characters for the first Battle Pass, one of them being Balthier from Final Fantasy XII, who's immediately suspicious of how Ren is acting, but he's paired up with Furion from Final Fantasy II, who wants to believe in the best in people, so he pretty much tries to push away Balthier's concerns when it comes to Ren. Also the fact that the characters are pulled from certain moments of their stories, so they will make references to certain aspects from that, although it can be a bit inconsistent, like Cloud being from late into Final Fantasy VII, but acts as if he's still from early Final Fantasy VII, which I know is more of a Square Enix problem than an inconsistency, but I'm still counting it, especially since in interviews, Clive Ross from Final Fantasy XVI is supposed to be getting introduced next month or so. But they struggled on when to pull Clive from Final Fantasy XVI to introduce him into this game, which highlights 2 things. 1, Clive's that much of a wet blanket that y'all need to find a specific moment and put him into this fun crossover game, and 2, the fact that they want to pay attention to the detail of how the characters should be acting, so them all being so oblivious to Ren when he, at points, is making it so obvious his ulterior motives is very weird. This game is also only voice acted in Japanese, which wouldn't be an issue if it wasn't for the fact that they don't subtitle any of the dialogue in gameplay, and nor interaction between the characters, or their dialogue when you get ranked as MVP. That's completely just skipped over since they don't subtitle it. Once again, they're gonna use only 1 dub for the game. You need to subtitle every time the characters actually speak. The main gameplay is PvEVP, with there being 2 teams of 3 players, and the 3 players need to try and work together in order to defeat the monster first. Whichever team does that objective first wins the match, with the characters having one of 4 different types: a melee character, a ranged character, a support character, and a agile character, with the base 4 characters you have being Klaus from Final Fantasy VII, a melee character, Terra Bradford from Final Fantasy VI, a ranged character, Lightning from Final Fantasy XIII, the agile character, and the Warrior of Light from Final Fantasy I as the support character. Those being your starting characters, with the rest of the cast need to be unlocked through the gacha system that I will explain later. Every character has bravery that they gain by their purifying crystals or defeating opponents, making it so you can just stop opponents from even getting a chance to use their bravery if you just steal it off of them. But when it comes to fighting off the monsters near crystals, defeating them will also increase the levels of the characters, because in the matches, characters start from level 1 all the way to level 9, boosting their stats bit by bit as well when it comes to that. So there are reasons to just take out the monsters in order to help yourself as well. Every playable character also has skills that you equip. There are 4 skills unique to each character only they can use, while the rest are all general skills that anyone can use. This will be your main method of doing things, whether it be dealing damage, healing, or support. And when someone has all 9 bravery, they can activate Bravery Burst to then attack the monster directly. However, if 2 people on the same team activate Bravery Burst and use their skills at the same time, it'll cause a combo chain, which then allows them to deal even more damage to the monster, shredding their health bar way faster. Just make sure to watch your back, because enemy players aren't gonna let you just do that. However, if you use one of the character's 2 limit breaks, then they are completely invincible during the animation, making it to where many people will use that in a pinch in order to prevent themselves from dying, or will turn to a game of chicken to see who will use their limit break second in order to prevent the first person's limit break from doing any damage whatsoever. Every character has their own unique quirk on top of their whole entire role. So for footage you're seeing is from Krile for Final Fantasy V, whose main quirk is that she gets more bravery from purifying crystals, and she can then pass on that bravery to her allies since her unique skills are more support based to fill her role, so having her on the battlefield isn't inherently the best idea for her role, even if there are people who do get mileage at making her more of a combative person at the cost of basically not using your main gimmick properly. One character that was added over via update was the Onion Knight from Final Fantasy III, whose main gimmick is that he actually benefits way more from leveling up, so you want the Onion Knight to be attacking the monsters at the crystals, not purifying them per se, just get rid of the monsters so he can get more out of his kit with the higher the level, which one of his gimmicks being the fact that his ability spellbook actually has an additional feature if he's at level 9 when he uses it. So there are reasons to pretty much pay attention to what each character's gimmick is to pretty much get more functionality and more synergy with the team. You see a Krile, let her purify the crystal, let her purify the crystal. Oh my god, can people stop bringing the crystal right in front of me? I'm trying to purify this thing and give you all bravery. Let me do the thing. And let Onion Knight take out monsters to level up faster, and such. And let Kain players jump to their deaths, because I swear Kain players will use Kain's Dragoon Pride ability, jump to an enemy field, and then get obliterated as if they're freaking playing Genji in Overwatch. Stop doing that! While there are several maps in the game, you will feel repetition since, when it comes to how they're picked, the game generally has 2 maps it will cycle between at any given time, on top of the fact that the game's main gameplay only really has 3 modes. There's the ranked mode, which will obviously increase your rank and give you the most rewards when it comes to the battle pass. The casual matches, which is basically ranked mode, but you don't get ranked and you get half the rewards, so I don't really see the point in this one. And also the challenge mode, which is all about fulfilling certain challenges and getting special rewards. Except you still have to win the match like a regular play session, so I don't know why it's a separate mode, rather than just challenges you do during the main gameplay and casual ranked. But I guess they wanted it here instead of making it to people doing something stupid purposely in actual live match, since challenge mode only uses AI companions and AI opponents. The ranked mode does limit what people are able to bring. With the higher the mode, the more powerful abilities characters are able to bring into the matches, pretty much having the training wheels get more and more removed the higher the rank you are. Although there can be some issue how the ranked matches people, like you can get people from 2 completely different ranks put together, and the game does calculate the total combat power of the teams, which doesn't necessarily mean if they'll win, but it does show what kind of disadvantage you are in if your combat power is way less than your enemy. One extra caveat is the fact that every match is also on a time limit. If the time limit ends, it counts as a loss for both teams, and both teams will also lose rank points if this is a ranked match. Some people don't like that aspect where it counts as both losses, but I have seen the official developers and content creators of this game tell people that we are about to lose, just start griefing your enemy team so that way they can't win, which is a hilarious thing to see, since people are like, Did the devs just incentivize telling the players to go grief the opponents if they're about to lose? The answer is yes. Yes, they did. Now for all the stuff that brings the game down, which is, I mentioned the story, but in order to get the story, you have to reach certain points within the battle pass, which means doing either the matches or doing special challenges. The issue being the fact that the most points you get is for ranked matches, and you get the most points for winning. And even if you are just winning, it still takes a long while to reach these story moments on the battle pass, since it is still a battle pass with multiple tiers of rewards and everything in it. So when it comes to getting for the story, it's gonna be a while with that whole entire system in place. On top of the fact that When you get higher ranks, you do get more points, you have more reasons to do the ranked matches, instead of casual or challenge battles if you are trying to specifically do the battle pass. The game's main gacha is drawing skills, where during the tutorial section, you'll have the ability to draw 10 skills, whether it be by using the draw tickets or the in-game currency called MogPay. However, once you are out of tutorial in the first battle pass, it now jumps to a 20 skill pool and the 10 option is just gone. It's just something I've never seen a gacha game do, where the minimum for a multi-pull has just doubled and just stays like that for some reason. Usually we see as 10 pull and everything, but now it's 20, which requires 20 draw tickets or 3,000 MogPay coins, which just feels ridiculous since your odds are still the same, on top of the pool still having stuff like character exclusive skills. I'm playing as Krile, but I could get skills for the other characters that she can't use. Drawing skills also gives you growth eggs, which are used to level up skills, but you only increase them by levels of 10, and then you need duplicates of the skills in order to increase it further. And you need many duplicates to really go further and further to increase the skills level. Now, while increasing the skills level doesn't make the skill more powerful, it increases the stats of your character, which is why getting skills they can't use isn't fully bad, so you can equip them as support just for stats. If you want to increase those stats, you need duplicates, and since every character brings in unique skills, that's more skills being added to the skill pool, on top of the gacha rates not being the best. You do have the option for a free 5 pull every 8 hours, but 1, it requires watching ads, and 2, it even decreases the rate of the drops even further if you use that method, which the game wants you to do, that you also get growth eggs. You do also pull for characters. However, when you first start this app, you do get infinite retries for character and infinite retries for the first 2 skills you get. So you can make it so you can start out with the character you want and start out with at least one of their limit breaks / URs. So that is appreciated that you can do that off the bat. However, when it comes to drawing characters afterwards, you need character tickets, which you cannot even pay for. You can't even throw money to get characters. Instead, they're either given to you for doing certain challenges, or they are randomly given to you when you do draws, which will give you extra draw tickets or character tickets. But if you have 5 character tickets, you are able to immediately pick any character you want. The issue with drawing characters is not just the fact that you don't get many tickets, especially not on the premium pass, comes to the battle pass, it's also the fact that every character has 6 variants, 2 outfits, 3 color swaps for the outfits, so 6 variants for all of them, and with each new character coming in, they add in 4 characters. That means they basically added 6 variants for those 4 characters. That just made the pool way bigger. While they do have events for new characters when to increase their drop rate, it is not guaranteed, and that's still for 2 characters. I used 3 tickets when Iroha from Final Fantasy XI and Onion Knight got added in Final Fantasy 3. And when it came to that, I got Iroha 3 times in a row. Great, thanks for that. See the issue here when it comes to character tickets, since they're way more rare to come across, and that's how you get the unique characters. There are people I've seen in the in-game chat who says they spent $64 on a game and still didn't get what they want, and then someone else had the nerve to tell them to keep their expectations low, even though they just spent $64 for that game. Screw that person! You also have job medals to further upgrade your characters, giving them passive buffs. Job medals are obtained by doing certain challenges, or also the challenge battles, which will give specific job medals for the character in question whose challenges you are doing, giving you more an upside to using a specific character. How nice! The downside is even the job medals are still essentially gacha, since the ability you get from them is random. And although you can have 3 sets of job medals in order to pull your inventory, if you want to replace one, you will replace it completely and you don't get a choice of choosing between the new one or the old one. The new one you pull will immediately replace the old one, which once again, not from a gacha, just trying to screw you over. As fans have said about this game, there are more ways to pay for this game than there are ways to actually play it. There is also the premium pass that you can pay for, and while the premium passes are generally really cheap, surprisingly, in fact, the booster you can pay for to make the passes go faster is more expensive than the premium pass itself, the premium passes also are worth it because the stuff you get from it are just not great. Now, I was a sucker who bought the premium pass for the tutorial one, which gave you access immediately to the original costumes for the 4 default characters of this game. When it comes to the first actual battle pass proper, your big rewards for them are just like 16-bit icons of the characters, and it's like, that's the best you can do. That's why people get a premium pass. And one of the main draws is the fact that with their premium pass, you get way more draw tickets, you get Mog Pay as well, which for some reason is counted as free currency and not premium currency, and I'm paying for a premium pass, which is weird because every single time I see a game do a battle pass, the currency you get counts as premium and not free, and I'm confused as hell. My brother says it's just a scam, get over it. Anywho, the premium pass themselves just aren't worth the money, even though they're not much money to begin with, unless you really want to be able to draw skills way faster, which you're trying to keep up with other players in higher ranks, then yeah, you would want to do that, but it's still just so weird. Even the premium passes just aren't good. After playing matches, which are Kain, you obtain crystals. These crystals will open in real time and have several rarities depending on how high the rank you are and stuff you are doing in order to get better crystals. However, while these crystals do give you skills, they still don't give you anything that good even when they're higher tier and everything, and the fact that they take real world time means there's a limit to how much the game wants you to actually play, or you could use the Mog Pay points in order to actually open the crystals sooner, which is one of those things that just kind of prevents you from just doing stuff. But also, if you watch ads, you can unlock 3 extra slots, since by default, you only have 3. You have the premium pass, and you have all 6 from the get-go, no need to watch ads, but it's still ridiculous, especially when this game is buggy, and can error out after you watch the ads, not give you the slot, and make you watch the ads again. With the introduction of Balthier and Firion, they added a new red crystal, which will be a guaranteed skill for the 2 new characters, which seems pretty cool, except it's still 1 of 4 skills for them, and once again, could be skills for a character you don't have, if let's say you got Firion but not Balthier, or vice versa. So once again, cool idea, but execution still leads it to luck can just say, go screw yourself. There is also a known bug in this game where you can just start a match and the screen is entirely dark. It never loaded in after the transition, but the match is still fully going. And the problem with this thing is the fact that not only just can't see, you were to back out, the game considers that disconnecting, which now, when it comes to now, they did the game to where it now punishes you for disconnecting for any reason. We not only lose rank points, but it can go as far as to only give you gray crystals, the worst variety, that take 12 hours to open for a set amount of time, no matter what task you do, punishing you even further for disconnecting. But when the game itself is buggy, sometimes players won't disconnect. You do have the option to auto, which will play the game automatically for you, and you can do that on any mode. But your teammates will hate you since the auto AI is not good and basically counts as basically just a forfeit a match anyway. So it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. Either the game's mad at you or your teammates are mad at you because the game itself is buggy. I also want to shout out the new remixes for each character in the game, because some of these decisions for these remixes are like, give that mofo a raise who came up with it. Giving Krile's theme music a rendition of the Windrake theme, but also then going into Final Fantasy V's Battle Theme 1. Freaking great. And the genius who decided, let's take Eyes on Me from Final Fantasy VIII and turn it into a battle track. Freaking awesome. Like, the remixes the characters get in this game for their tracks, which the game plays depending on which player is basically chosen out of the three as like the lead person. That's the music you'll be hearing throughout the match, and it's just a real fun thing of remixes and how they select them as well. Now for the game's text, which I don't have much to say, especially since it's a mobile game that you will presumably have right in front of your face. But I will note that once again, they don't subtitle the stuff when it comes to in combat, the MVP quotes, or also when you also draw characters, they don't subtitle what the characters are saying, which once again, you're going to use only one voice track, you really need to subtitle everything. I will say when it comes to the cutscenes, I do like the fact that they give little pop-ups to tell new players which Final Fantasy each character comes from the first time they show up. That is a neat touch. And also the fact that the subtitle text during the cutscenes do have an outline on them to make it easier to read, so I do like that aspect. I will note a weird quirk with the UI is that when you're in the home button, the main menu, you'll see icons for what each button does, but when you're actually in those sections, then the icons are gone, and instead it's just the words for each one. And I will note that how small they get can be a bit hard, at least for me at sometimes, to tap which one I want to go to those menus. And then also when it comes to the draw side, you're gonna have to flick left and right in order to switch between them. So which is a bit more uniform, and which did have to immediately just squish down to just saying the words to already have the icons as well for what each button is. So what I gotta say about when it comes to tech stuff related to that. I will also note that when it comes to seeing how much bravery and your ally stats, the default setting is that it will hover over their character, meaning the fact that to keep turning the camera around in order to get a look at what your ally status is, which when it comes to that is very important for a support character like Krile who needs to heal people at a moment's notice to that information. Now you can choose a setting in order to keep it in one spot, but the spot they keep is on the top left, and that's where notification for stuff your allies are doing. So if they do anything at all, it will cover up their status with that notification. So there is no really good spot when it comes to trying to see your ally status at a moment's notice. Overall, I do like Dissidia Duellum. I like the main gameplay when it comes to their 3v3v1 gameplay system and everything. Although if you're playing a support character and your teammates are bad, you're basically just watching a losing battle, because as a support character you can't deal enough to actually change the tide. You require your teammate to do something. So one entire thing. Like, I like the gameplay, I actually like playing as crowd, everything, what's being done. Just the fact that the way they had the monetization, like, I can't even say it's just for a gacha game, because I've played other gacha games that didn't do it as weird as this, where, oh, a tutorial, now it's 20 pool. Oh, now the URs take up the skill pools, which means less chance for character skills you want. Oh, the characters acquire tickets that are rarely given out and everything. We're given like 2 characters per month. Next month's supposed to be Riku for Final Fantasy X and Krile for Final Fantasy 16 and stuff like that. Oh, the story's tied behind a battle pass, which I was again never see a gacha game do that when they put the story behind a battle pass. Usually the story is a separate mode and the PvP is something else, but since this is mostly PvP with the challenge battle just being for extra bonuses, it feels like the challenge battles should have been what they've done for the story and then had the PvP be its own thing just for the battle pass, but they mixed it together and it's so weird. The main story so far is starting to actually go places, but I do like the character interactions. I do think they do have fun interactions, although at this point there are some characters who get less to work with. Like if you're a fan of Gacha 14, she gets less to work with in the story compared to others who have a bit more screen time and everything. Although they've done a decent job with making sure the new characters get their moments in the narrative, despite just coming into the story and immediately giving them something they're trying to do to help fix the situation that is going on with the world and the Ghost's reputation. Having to gacha roll for skills, gacha roll for characters, gacha roll for job medals, the freaking bugs in the game as well, just really what drags it down. Like, even during the beta, me and other people were like, if you make them gacha roll for characters on top of the skills, it's gonna be a mess. So their way of fixing that was to just try and limit the character tickets, but you still have 6 variants for each character, which bogs up the entire character pool and makes it more of a mess. Just weird decisions all over. And then the premium pass, which you think would be the main selling point, actually isn't, because you don't really get much rate justify getting it for other people. So the main thing is needing to get the MOG pay in order to draw more skills. Even the booster pass is questionable because there's just not really much good stuff in the pass itself as well. You're gonna pay so much money for a month-long booster pass when, one, you don't need that much time for a booster pass to actually really get things done fast, since a booster pass just gives you triple the amount of battle pass progress. Like, it's just so weirdly done. That's what I gotta say about Dissidia Duellum. Man, I had more to say about this game than I thought I would. What I gotta say about it? Alrighty then, good day.